Hi guys, and welcome to the Chef Wednesday vs Sunderland match review. Now, I do apologise, I'm a little bit late for this. It just depends when I'm working, and when I'm working, for those of you who don't know, I do 24-hour shifts from 10 AM until 10 AM the following day. And sometimes I can watch the game whilst I'm at work, sometimes I can't. This time I could watch the game, but obviously I can't do a match review whilst I'm at work, so I need to do it when I come home the following day. So here we are, we're doing it now. So Sunderland did get beat by 2-0 against Chef Wednesday. I did predict a defeat in the preview to the game. I'd somewhat expected it because I didn't think that our second string squad is particularly strong. In fact, it's way off, and I think after yesterday's performance, it proved how far off it is away from getting near the first team squad. A lot of those players anyway. So I kind of expected it, but the manner in which we got beat is what absolutely infuriated me. It really did infuriate me. Not the fact we got knocked out, not the fact that Chef Wednesday beat us. Honestly, and then I couldn't make it clearer, I'm not bothered about that at all. So for those who, they're just going to see the title or the thumbnail of this video and immediately go, oh, it's only the cup competition, why are you so arsed? Hear me out. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people do just look at the thumbnail or the title and don't watch the video and jump to conclusions, and half the shit that you tell me in the comments, I end up saying anyway. So I end up having to have a bit of a conversation with people in the comments that I feel like I don't need to. But either way, so going into the game, we started off, of course, a fully changed squad, a new 11 entirely. With Bass in goal, we had Alessi, we had Bailey Wright, Winchester, Sonner played, you had Trey Hume, you had O'Nien, Embleton, Matete, Patrick Roberts starting, Diamond as well. I feel like I'm missing someone now. Have I missed someone? I can't remember if I'm missing someone. I'm maybe very easily missing someone there. I'm not too sure. I think it could be. But either way, I think that was 11 players. But yeah, so that was the team. Very clearly a massively weakened 11. On paper, you might argue that there's 2 or 3 players with good quality in there that should be able to do something. But, Chef Wednesday, they weren't a million miles off as last season. Do you know what I mean? They weren't a million miles off. And yes, we've improved somewhat this season, but that's our second string that was arguably, well, it is. That second string is worse than our first team that we used last season in League One. Do you know what I mean? It's considerably worse. And if anything, I think Alex Neil fielding that side, it's almost a scream out to the owners to say, look how far we are off. Because if we get 1 or 2 injuries into our first team and we need to use those players, we are screwed. Because arguably, I think the only players there that made a case of even being half decent, Trey Hume, I'm a fan of. I think he looked decent. I love his attitude. He's constantly barking orders for a young lad. He gets involved. He sticks to his man relatively well. He tries to get forward when he can, and then he had zero support. Roberts, we know he has ability. Of course we do. But yesterday was absolutely appalling, as were a lot of the players on the pitch. Embleton, and now some people are 50-50, some people agree with me, some people don't. I rate Embleton, I think he could do a job. Other than that, there was no one on that pitch that looked anywhere near the level that they need to be in the first team. On an isolated performance, yeah, Patrick Roberts looked like he shouldn't be near the first team. Embleton the same. I think Trey Hume, I think he looked okay. Diamond, to be fair to him, he absolutely ran his socks off. He was trying to get in behind the channels, trying to make something happen, and he was running himself into the ground, that lad, and I do appreciate that. He looked dangerous, made a couple of half chances all by himself. But other than that, this is where my issue stems. Now, they know that Sunderland now, being a championship club, they need to put a hell of a lot of work in to try and fight and work their way into the first team, into the starting 11 on a weekend basis in the championship. It's a big opportunity for a lot of these players. So they were given an opportunity last night to say, right, go on then, stake your claim, show me what you can do. And I have to say the attitude of almost all of them was absolutely fucking appalling. I'm not even exaggerating. It was absolutely disgusting. It was as if it was treated like a friendly. It was walking pace. It was pedestrian. There was next to zero effort from every single one of those players. Snail's pace. It was shit. It was utterly abysmal. And as you'll see on the thumbnail, it was appalling. It really, really was. I mean, yeah, we say like Roberts has good quality, which he does. I think the opening sort of half an hour, I think he cut inside like he does from right to left a couple of times. And after that, he was walking around the pitch. Barely made a move, barely moved off the ball. When he did have to get the ball, he would maybe run it into danger immediately. But in general, Chef Wednesday, and all credit to them, they were really going for it. And they had a slightly weaker side as well. Do you know what I mean? They had a slightly weaker side, but every second ball. You can see they were busting the gut to get it. There were times where there's just a loose ball in the middle of the pitch, and you've got O'Nien, Matete, and Embleton as a triangle staring at each other like, who's going to go for that one then? It was horrendous. It was shocking. You know, Winchester, who usually I do give some credit because I do think he has some quality in there. Every time he got it, he was losing it. His passing ability was horrendous. Alessi, he looks, you know, for a big lad and he's quick, he looked way off the pace and he looked weak as piss. You know, whoever was going up against him would just rolling him away. O'Nien was absolutely terrible. Matete, arguably even worse. It was just god-awful from start to finish. You know, their first goal, you're getting no way near it. No way near it. Absolutely not. Your top left-hand corner, put any keeper in there, they're not getting it. That's fine, but the closing down was horrendous. No one was getting, no one was arsed. It was just so easy. It was treated like a pre-season game. And you might argue and just say, oh, but you look very arsed about to get knocked out now. I'm really not. It's like I say, I expected to lose. And, you know, but if I saw the lads making chances, going for it, putting the effort in, because even though I already said in the preview the quality isn't necessarily there, but I can see that the effort is there, I wouldn't have been arsed. I would have been like, oh, it was exciting. It was nice to see this X player play, this guy play, A, B and C play. Do you know what I mean? That's how my reaction would have been. But because of how unbelievably poor it was, that's what frustrates me. That really frustrates me. And then in the second half, Bass, you know, we kept playing ourselves into danger. Everyone was going backwards. Everyone was hell bent on going backwards. We'd get to the sort of the middle third, and then it'd be like, right, okay, I don't know what to do. None of the middle three were taking any responsibility. When Embleton would come in deep, or Matete, or O'Nien, it was, oh shit, backwards, and they would go backwards. Then they would press, because they were pressing brilliantly, and they were going for it, and they were treating it like a competitive game, where those lot weren't. And you know what I mean? So for the second goal, they played it back to Bass, and Bass's pass was absolutely horrendous to Alessi. He cut him short, and then it was an excellent cross, whipped back in across goal, and I think it was So who got the goal, or Sal got the goal, who just prodded it home to make it 2-0, and they saw it out as a piece of piss. We didn't threaten. I think we had one shot on target throughout the entirety of the game, and that was, I think it was a corner, and O'Nien headed it very gently and kindly to the keeper, and that was it. We didn't look threatening. You could argue, yes, we didn't have a striker on the pitch. Damon isn't a striker, is he? He's a winger. But even so, just to have that kind of oomph and that want and that will and desire, those lads just had that opportunity to show Alex Neil against, it's Sheffield Wednesday, who pretty much, like I say, their lineup there, it was actually stronger than ours, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? It probably was, purely because this is still a League One side that we've got on paper. Those players that were on the pitch last night wouldn't have got into the first team of when we were in League One. Or at least some of them anyway, about half of them at least. But yeah, there was just no fight at all. They were going for it. We were going into every tackle, hard, fair challenges, but we were just soft as shit. And like I say, the attitude for me, it was shocking. That really shocked me from a lot of those players. None of them looked just not interested at all, disorganised. You might put that down to Alex Neil to an extent. I've seen some people on Twitter, very little amount of people, but some people have questioned Alex Neil's attitude. You know, why is he fielded that team? I'm thinking, you know, and Alex Neil said it himself. These games we've been playing in the Championship, they're like cup finals. Every single game in the Championship is like a cup final. If you look at the intensity and the pace and the tempo of both opening games we've had so far this season, it is of a cup final tempo. It's nowhere near the same tempo as League One. So it absolutely ruins the players. They look exhausted because it's such a higher quality league, high quality division, high quality and high calibre level of player you're playing up against. So you're knackered after every Championship game. So no doubt he wanted to use some of these players who are trying to fight the case of why I should be within that Championship starting 11. And then they give him that. They show him that. That isn't Alex Neil's fault that what he got in return was that shit. And I mean, it wasn't like it was just a bit bad. It was utterly garbage. I was nearly falling asleep at times. It was so unbelievably poor. I don't know, some players that you might think, oh yeah, but, you know, Roberts he was only that bad because he has shit around him. You can say that about any player. You know, for me that's a cop-out excuse. Unless he could have been shit because he had shit around him. Bailey Wright could have been shit because he had shit around him. Bass could have been shit because he had shit around him. Just because we know that he has an ability within him somewhere, it doesn't shy away from the fact that, oh, he can do shit because there was other bad players around him. Do you know what I mean? I don't buy that at all. Granted, yes, it's easier to play football when you have good players around you. But it's harder and it's more impressive if you put in a good display and you've got shit around you. Does that make sense? So then for people to shy away, players to shy away as much as they did, and generally look like they were so disinterested, that's what annoyed me the most. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I know it's a bit of a rant and a rave, but I was quite excited just to see, whilst expecting to not exactly pick up a win, I was expecting to see, a few players think, oh yeah, we might have lost, but 1, 2, 3 players, they look like they could have really gone for it. They look like they could have slotted into our starting 11. Not one of them. Not one of them even nearly. Diamond ran his socks off, but I think that's because the standards were so low that simply running his socks off and making an effort shone last night, because none of the other players did, unfortunately. So, yes, that's the review, guys. I know recently it's been all rainbows and fairies and stuff because we've been on such a good start to the season. But you know what I'm like. I say it how it is, and I say how I feel. You might feel completely different to me. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Now, for this weekend's game, I don't want to get you all too excited and commit to anything. But as of right now, I'm planning to do a live stream, the first live stream of the season between Sunderland and QPR at the Stadium Light. I will be doing a live stream. I hope so anyway. There's a small chance, well, there's about 20-30% chance I might not be able to do it. So I don't want to get you too excited. A preview to the game should come tomorrow. There's a chance it won't, but either way, we'll see what happens, don't we? It's difficult with work for me to just tell you that A, B, and C is going to happen, but it might not. But either way, like, subscribe, stay jammy. See you in a bit.